Come make me tell you about the things them way I want, sir. Back in the days when the dancer used to warm, sir. When Clinton Lindsay used to bust them, make them go on, sir. Whole heap of artists Clinton bring come up America. Some never know say Clinton Lindsay.
Hey, welcome back to Now You Know with Clinton Lindsay. And again, we want to thank you for all your subscriptions, your comments, and of course, spreading the word. And today's episode, I'm gonna take you back to 1989. It began earlier than that. It would be 88. Now DJ lecturer, bigot lecturer they call him, he's always telling me about this DJ daddy. It's an older guy, and all the DJs back in those days, they would take him on their shows, introduce him, bring him on stage, and he will give a nice little vibe, So lecturer always been telling me about him, and I think I saw him one or two times at different dances. So I told lecturer, yes, okay. Lecturer said I should give him a trip just for him to get a feel of what foreign is and so on. So I said, okay, I'll do that, because there are times where you need a filter. And I could have him on my list. When the right time comes, I could put him on it. So by 1989, that time came. I put him on it, and I brought him up. The first place I got him work was at the Underground in Manhattan. And back in those days, I had an apartment in the Bronx where when the artist would come, they would stay there. In those days, it was okay for an artist to stay at an apartment. Can't try that today. But so he was at the apartment, and the other guys, whoever they were, I don't remember all of them. So I got him this date at the Underground, and I told David Levy that I have this guy. He's an older guy, no recording that I know of. And a few people have heard about him in New York, because, all the big dances in Jamaica, the one Border Clash and Champions and all this, Sting and all of them, various DJs will take him there and introduce him, bring him on stage. And he really, for that 10-15 minutes, he's on stage, he would really, really nice up the dance. So I got him at the Underground. And he went on and he really did a fantastic job at the Underground. Mash up the place. The Underground, as you know, usually Friday nights. So the Saturday morning, I went to the apartment to pay him. And he was in the kitchen when I got there in the morning. And I called him. And actually, I went into the kitchen. And he was sitting around the table. And I said to him that I have something for him. And he said, oh, yeah? I said, yeah, man. I said, what out here? And I started to count. I counted 15 $100 bills, crisp, because that's how the Underground usually paid, I was just, going through, counting the money in his hand. And when I finished counting, he had the money in his hand, and he said to me, big man, what this for? I'm going to say, what do you mean, what this for? This is your pay. He said, pay? He said, pay for what? I said, you worked last night, didn't you? So you work, you get paid. He was like, this is for me? I said, yeah, it's for you. Oh my goodness, who said I should say that? The man went, Jesus Christ, Mr. Lindsay, you paid me for last night? And I'm like, yeah, you worked and I'm paying you. He said, oh Lord, God bless you, sir, because that's the first time a promoter even look at me and give me a money and say, this is my pay for work. That I say, you're kidding me. I say, you never got all those days that those dances I see on stage shows and all that, you never got paid? Him said, never. Not. You are the first man, a promoter, to put money in my hand and say, yes, this is yours. I'm saying, wow. So explain to me, I've seen you on all these shows and dances and concerts. He said what happened, a DJ would say to him, somebody would come and check him. He was living in Kingston. And someone would come and check him and say, you know, there's a dance in St. Mary or Trelawney or Westmoreland, and that particular DJ would come and, you know, want him to be on the show as a special guest, and that DJ usually they would call him on. Someone say, so they don't pay you, the DJ, they don't pay him. Said no, you know, they will buy him juice and pay him taxi fare and so on, but no salary. No one ever gave him a salary. I said, wow. So someone said, then how do you survive? How do you survive? He said, well, he had a friend that had a taxi. He would have the friend take him to wherever the dance would be, and the friend would charge the entertainer, let's say $1,500, but the actual trip would be $1,000, and then DJ Daddy would get $500. I remember at the time he was living with a younger woman, and they had a child together, if I remember correctly. So this is how he would make his money. There are times when sometimes 2 artists DJs would want him for the night, but with him and his taxi friend, they would choose the dance that is furthest. Let's say someone wants him in Kingston, he would avoid that person and go to the one in the same night. He would go to the one in Westmoreland, because then the money is higher in terms of the taxi fare. So the taxi man would get his, and then DJ Daddy would get a $5 or a $6 or even $1,000 off that trip. So I asked him, so that's how you survive? Him say yes, that, but no promoter, no artist have ever given him, says, a salary like what I just did to him. He said this is the first time ever he's getting what people call a salary. And I'm like, nah man, if you work you should get, even when it's small, you should get something, some sort of compensation for your work. You know, he was there looking at the money and said, this is mine. And I'm like, yeah brethren, your money that you worked last night, so it's yours. So he said he's gonna pick up a few things for his daughter and for his girlfriend. In the Bronx, there's a shopping district, Fordham Road. And he would go by Fordham Road and he would pick up, he got a suitcase, a big bag, and he would just pick up stuff to take home to Jamaica. I might have had him for 2 to 3 weeks, and I've gotten him at a little dates. But the night at the Underground, $1,500 was his biggest paycheck or payday. He was good to have because, you know, you bring him on stage and him create a nice little vibe. A lot of times when a DJ go flat and him want to revive his performance, him just call on DJ Daddy, and DJ Daddy will come on and just nice up the place. So he spent the 2 to 3 weeks with me. Then he went back to Jamaica. I did not see him since he went back, but I've heard a couple of years ago that DJ Daddy had passed away. So I know, now you know. Again, thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, and keep spreading the word right here on Now You Know with Clinton and Lindsay. Until next time, you take care.
Clinton Lindsay, a promoter. Bring up the biggest set of artists from Jamaica. Like Super Cat and Mr. Early be the doctor. Only for artists, no for them, me can't remember. Who can remember when them used to keep Jamaica? The kind of show that used to give out no for water. To reggae artists.